Welcome back to Nigeria 2015. It's now time for a look at the headline news with Ayotunde Balogun.
Thank you very much, Chamberlain. Well, it's another tragic day in Potiskum, Yobe State, a sad day, of course, as well as in Kano, where 27 people have been killed in separate bomb attacks. While 15 people died in the suicide attack by a female bomber in Potiskum, 2 male bombers killed some 12 passengers at the Kano Line Motor Park. Now, according to eyewitnesses in Potiskum, the female suicide bomber alighted from a tricycle and then ran into a crowd of passengers at the Tashindan Borno Park before detonating the device. Hospital source told our correspondent that 15 people were killed and some 53 others are being treated at an undisclosed hospital. According to an eyewitness in Kano, the attack occurred this evening at the Line Motor Park in Kano as people were boarding vehicles to their various destinations. Now, the United States says democracy and credible elections are key elements in Nigeria's quest for development. 2 things it says Nigeria must now take very seriously. At a forum in Abuja to mark Black History Month in America, the Cultural Affairs Officer of the U.S. Embassy, Mr. Robert Kerr, urged Nigeria's leaders to create opportunities for the larger percentage of Nigerians, especially the youth. Now, the National Broadcasting Commission, the NBC, has threatened to revoke the license of any station which violates the Nigeria Broadcast Code ahead of the general elections. The Director General of the Commission, Mr. Emeka Mbahu, gave the warning at a forum for media chief executives in Abuja, advised on the need to show responsibility in the broadcast industry and avoid issues that will promote violence. And Czech Republic's Interior Minister has confirmed that 9 people have been killed at a restaurant in Uherský Brod town, southeast of Prague. The details are still sketchy, but reports say the gunman has been shot dead. Local media explained that the shooter burst into the restaurant at around midday and then began firing randomly. Reports said he fired about 25 rounds. Authorities believe at least 30 people were at the restaurant at the time. Other reports say after he entered the restaurant, there was a deafening detonation and shootings. And those are the news headlines. Chamberlain, is back to you now.
Well, thank you, Ayo. Well, we'd like to remind our viewers that you can tweet at us using the hashtag Nigeria2015 and the Twitter handles you see on your screen now. In addition to that, you can also send us an email, and that will be to Nigeria2015@channelstv.com. Well, let's move on to our focus today, preparations. Oh, yes, indeed. You can also watch us live wherever you are. m.channelstv.com. Thank you, guys. Getting back to this one, Demola, let's get to the commission because as we speak, they say, that's the commission now, that if they achieve 85% distribution of the permanent voter cards, they think that that would be okay. In terms of the margin of error, perhaps looking back to the last elections, probably from 2011, maybe you could add Anambra elections, Ekiti elections, Oshu elections. Is that a fair assessment? 85% a fair target?
As far as I'm concerned, 75% is good, is an A score. But I think we're missing the point here. We're just perpetuating a rather simplistic narrative in democracy here. Democracy is not just the day of election. It's not just voting. We voted people in this country that has failed or have done well. Now, it's important for the electorate to remember that once that they vote, it's still a continuous process. You still have people that should be held accountable. There's still a rule of law. There should be strong judiciary, strong institutions to protect your rights. There should be freedom of speech. There should be, the media should be able to cover things and get information out. So voting itself is not everything. As important as the PVC collection is, we can still go out there and vote somebody that will basically betray the trust of the voter, that could basically, go against all democratic norms and basically go against what we wish on that voting day. So as far as I'm concerned, the PVC, as important as it is, 75% is good enough. what we need to see in this country is an improvement in the electoral process. Every election must be an improvement. I don't think we can get it right in this election perfectly, but I want to see an improvement. And I see that on ground. There's actually a permanent voters card. This has never happened in this country. Even Ghana doesn't have a permanent voters card. You know, and Ghana has a more stable, a more, I would say, a more fluent electoral system in voting than we have in Nigeria. So we're still an infant democracy as far as we're concerned. But there needs to be that concentration on post-election. What does the electorate demand? What does your voting mean? And how is that going to be respected? You know.
Right. Let's look at security, because in that briefing that the chairman of the commission did before the National Council of States meeting, in page 11 of that document, which he presented to them, he did say, for things under the commission's control, our accomplishments are to such a degree that we can conduct the election in spite of the identifiable challenges. And then it goes on, the next, not the next paragraph, but it then says, however, we believe that it is necessary to take into context the things outside the control of the commission, such as the attitude of politicians, political parties, candidates and voters, and significantly, security. Let's talk about security. That's one of the reasons, the reason, as a matter of fact, why the elections were postponed. From what you've seen, or what you saw then and now, how well or otherwise have we done in preparing for these elections and our readiness with respect to security?
Well, let me say that I'm not sure that I agree, and I'll just go back for 1 minute, that the satisfactory level should be some 75%. When you do that, you've disenfranchised a lot of Nigerians, in excess of 10 million. Those are the numbers you see today. Remember, we're talking about making Nigerians effective voters. But moving beyond that, the reason I keep talking about 95% is this INEC, and I have great respect for them. To get to 85, 90%, you need to be pushing them for 95%. So I think in the end, if we get 90 to 95%, my view, that's a good opportunity for people to vote. But talking about security, INEC said it was ready. INEC said it wasn't ready because there were security concerns that they have now come to the realization were important enough to take into consideration. That was welcome because the issue of the Northeast was clear and was there. Now we have the opportunity to improve on that. The security agencies clearly are doing a great job at it now. Our troops are mobilized properly with proper equipment and tools that have arrived. Because, you know, we'll be talking about the